In today's video, I finished building my fiberglass teardrop camper. This is part 3 of the series, so if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, make sure to go back and check them out. Links will be in the description. In this video, I do the paint, install the door, window, and roof vent, and do all the finishing touches. Now let's get started on finishing this build. Alright, I got my door here. I just traced it out on a piece of cardboard. I'm gonna cut that out for my template. Okay, gotta get it lined up.
You hold it, I'll cover. I'll trace. Also be surprised. Now we can come in.
Well, it looks like some of my floor panels fell off while the trailer was upside down. That sucks. Got the roof vent here. This is the interior trim ring, so I'm just gonna put this up on the roof and trace it for the outline to cut out. This was actually a dumb idea. I had to cut the hole bigger because the trim ring was smaller than the actual fan itself, so just use the fan to mark out your hole. So I had to do this really strangely because there are wires for the roof vent fan that I didn't want to cut through, so I used my circular saw to just cut a very thin, just trying to cut through the thin plywood, and then I pried it up right here, and see those, they're the wires that I didn't want to cut, and then I took my jigsaw and went around making sure to not cut through those wires. I got this Total Boat topside primer. It was pretty expensive, so hopefully I can get one full coat with the gallon. I got it all sanded down. Now I'm gonna wipe it down with mineral spirits. So as you can see, I didn't cut out the window hole yet, but I already have it marked out. And so I didn't paint over those marks just so I know where to cut the hole. But I couldn't cut it out yet because I had to order a new window that might be a different size. So I just left it not painted so I could cut it out later. Got my little RV window here. Cut out a cardboard template, kind of trace it onto the camper. This window was just a little bit different size than the first one I got. I got this RV seal repair tape. I'm gonna put it along the edge. And that just kind of gives it a nice sealed off border where the insulation was exposed. Alright, I got this Gorilla Glue spray adhesive. I'm gonna try to use this to reattach the floor tiles. I'm gonna be using this Duralux marine coating, black. I bought 2 gallons of it. I'm not sure, it only took 1 gallon of primer to cover that, so might be able to save some money and take it back. But this stuff was only 60 bucks a gallon. For some reason black was like the most expensive, but better than Total Boat, which is like 120 a gallon. And there she is. Got 2 coats of black paint on her. It's looking pretty good. It's very glossy, very orange peely. Can still see all the imperfections of the fiberglass, but it is what it is. At least it's waterproof, very well protected. So now that I got the paint all done, it's time to start installing the window and door and the roof vent. Got the butyl tape here. Gonna put it all around the edge of the door. I think you start at the middle down here and go all the way up and around in one continuous loop, and then you overlap at the bottom again. This little trim ring that I'm installing here is the reason I had to buy a new window. The first window I bought didn't come with one, so I didn't really have any way of installing it. I might still add it and just make my own trim ring now that I see how it works, but I decided to just buy a different one that had a trim ring included. Here I'm just soldering some extending wires onto the ones that I ran through the camper because the wires on the roof vent were on the opposite side of where my wires were. So I'm just soldering some more wires on to connect to the roof vent. Alright, got the door, window, and roof vent all installed. They went in pretty easy. The door, I actually ended up using bolts and just bolted it all the way through and put a nut on the inside because there was no studs for these screws to go into. So I thought it'd just be better to use bolts that go all the way through. The window just uses this trim ring on the inside. There's still a bit of a gap, but it's really not that bad. The screws just go straight into the window. The window was actually a little harder to do than the door, and then the roof vent went real smooth. I got them all siliconed, but I saved you the footage of that because I'm terrible at siliconing, so don't follow my lead. Now I'm starting to build a simple cabinet for the interior. Just a little tip, change out your jigsaw blade. I was literally cutting with a butter knife. These little desktop drum sanders are actually pretty cheap and useful. This cabinet is actually pretty simple to make. It's just 2 pieces of plywood cut to whatever size you want your cabinet to be. And then you cut the holes in the front for the openings and glue and screw the 2 pieces together. And then it goes up into the corner of your camper and makes a nice little cabinet. Split these in half because I couldn't get it in the camper, so I pre-installed some L brackets got these padded stick-on like headboard things I'm gonna put on the wall right here, but I need to trim it out because there's a little bit of room above and below. So I'm gonna see how much room I need to take up with the trim. All right, got some cheap pine boards from Home Depot. Just gonna rip them down on the table saw to the size I need for my trim pieces. I needed some room to shove the extra wires up into, so I just cut a little square out with my multi-tool. You don't have to solder the wires together. There's plenty of other options to connect them. I just prefer soldering because it's nice and sleek, and the heat shrink really protects the connections. I am pretty terrible at trim, so I'm not going to show you too in-depth on how to do it. I mean, it's straightforward. It just takes a little bit of finesse and probably some know-how to make it look good. I cut this trim piece for around the door, but there's the bolts sticking out, so I just drilled some holes to line up with the bolts. All right, so for the corners, the corner trim around the door, I glued these two of these blocks together, and then I cut out a cardboard template of the radius of the corner. Got the battery all cleaned up with the ring terminals, make it easier to remove it or change anything. And then I got a solar charge controller hooked up. You just got these wires you run to your solar panel, put it up on the roof, and then you're charging your batteries with solar. It's really simple to hook up. You just have your two wires that go to the battery, positive and negative, and then you have your wires that go to your solar panel, positive and negative, and that's it. Figured I'd just show you how the solar panel works. I got my little folding EcoFlow solar panel that came with my power pack. And you just take these cords out. You got your positive and negative. You plug them in. They just plug in real easy. And then you can see the solar is charging the battery. I added a little quick disconnect to the negative just so I can unplug it so that this screen doesn't kill the battery. You plug it in and the screen comes on. So I figure I'll just unplug it when I'm not using it. I attached the camper to the trailer with bolts. These like 3/8 bolts and these little rubber bushings. Got them all along the back and the front. And down the sides. So I think it's secured pretty good. You shake it, just shakes the whole trailer. I put the brake lights back on. Put on these mountain and tree decals. They're kind of basic, but I think it helps break up the trailer a little bit instead of just all black. I think it looks pretty good. Got another decal coming in the mail that I'm gonna put on the back, but that's not gonna be here for like a month, so gotta wait on that. Got this little magnet so that when you open the door, magnet's on there so it's not blowing around like crazy. Got a mattress and a fitted sheet for it. Put some tree decals on the inside, kind of break up some of the wood. I painted the back wall black and added these 3D textured panels just to add some more design. Got a couple of these cargo nets for either side of the door for more storage. Got my little cubby to put my phone and keys and wallet in. Yeah, this thing is basically done. That's going to do it for this project. Hope you enjoyed watching and learned a few things. Make sure to subscribe and come back for my next project. Catch you later.